Hello and welcome to this short sequence which is going to be all about strengthening the glutes, the quads, the ankles and maybe a little bit of ab work as well, just a little bit. We're going to begin our practice today just lying on our back, taking a few moments to get centered. So I welcome you to bring a little cushion or something to rest the back of your head on. And it's up to you, but get yourself into a comfortable position. Now, if you are suffering from lower back pain at the moment, it might feel nice to have the soles of the feet mat width apart with the knees knocking together in a bit of a teepee shape. But you could also have your legs in Baddha Konasana, soles of feet together and knees wide. Now, if your knees or your thighs hover away from the floor, then grab your yoga blocks, some cushions or blankets, and just pad out underneath the knee so that they're not kind of hanging in midair. Otherwise, kind of coming into a more of a traditional Shavasana posture by lengthening the legs out along the floor and just having the arms nice and wide so that the chest is broad and the shoulders are soft. We're just taking a few moments here to start to ground, bring our energy down and prepare ourselves physically and mentally for some yoga today. So if you haven't done so already, just gently close your eyes. Allow your body to feel very heavy and relaxed. So perhaps you're drawing your attention to the spaces in your body which are connected down to the floor or any props if you're using them. And have a sense that you're giving yourself over to gravity. A sense that your body is gradually becoming heavier. If possible, find stillness through your body as well. This will help us to allow our energy, our prana to settle. Perhaps taking a mental scan through. From the top of our head all the way down towards our toes. Check in and notice whether there are any spaces in your body that are right now holding a bit of tightness or tension. Don't judge yourself or criticize yourself for the way that you're feeling right now. Simply acknowledge those sensations, feelings, and emotions. Now bring your awareness to how you're breathing. Notice whether you naturally breathe in and out through the nose, through the lips, or perhaps through both. And so long as you haven't got any blockages through the nose, start to close the lips and allow the breath to flow in and out through your nose. Each time you inhale, think about taking the breath a little bit deeper so that you feel it moving not just down into your belly but also up and across your chest. Every time you exhale, have a sense that you're slowly, gently drawing belly button back to spine to help you to squeeze any air just sitting at the base of your lungs. Keep this going, long, slow breaths in, followed by deep and extensive exhalations. Notice how you feel when you focus solely on your breathing. Now let's see if we can maintain this deep breath as we begin to move through our practice. If you popped anything behind the back of your head or behind the backs of your knees, just gently move it to one side for a moment. Let's take bridge pose to begin. So soles of feet are flat to the floor. The heels are nice and close to the bottom. So as we reach down toward the backs of our heels, we can just about tap them with the tips of our fingertips. Feet are good hip distance apart perhaps, and arms resting down alongside the body with the palms facing up toward the sky. Take a deep inhalation and feel your belly expand. As you breathe out, curl your tailbone up, pressing low back to floor to begin, and then start to drive down through the heels so that your low, mid and upper back lift up and away from the floor. Long breaths in, expanding your breath into side rib cage. And deep exhales, that sense of curling under the tailbone to lengthen out through your low back slightly. Draw your awareness down into your thighs. Have a sense that you're squeezing an invisible football between the thighs. So there's this gentle hugging inwards. Maybe there's a slight wobble in the legs as you do that. Strengthening the inner thighs. Perhaps starting to strengthen our hamstrings by, without moving the feet, gently dragging the heels energetically back toward the shoulders. Notice how that changes the sensation in your legs. Deep breaths in. Deep breaths out. Hopefully feeling the low body firing up now. From here, I want you to take your fingertips and pop them just below your bottom cheeks, the space where the lowest point of your bottom cheeks, where it kind of meets the top back of your thighs, and then gently start to squeeze into that space. Nice deep breaths down into this area. Let's take 2 more. Well done. Gently relax through your bottom and slowly bring yourself all the way down onto your back. Well done. Let's roll over. I'm going to take it onto my left side so that I'm facing you. So I'd like you to have one hand cupping underneath your head and bring that opposite hand out in front of you. The knees are bent, stacking one on top of the other. Now this little exercise here is more of a Pilates style exercise and it's called clamshell. So I want you to imagine that your legs are like the clamshell. You're going to keep the ankles, the heels in contact, and we're going to open and close the top knee away from the bottom. Now squeeze into your bottom and your thigh so that you're creating a little bit of resistance in the body, and I'd like you to imagine that you're moving through treacle. We'll do 5 rounds on this side, so when you're ready, squeezing all of those spaces of the body, gently starting to lift and open the top knee. And then exhale, imagine that you've got a beach ball between the thighs, you're gently squeezing in nice and slowly to close the legs. Good. 4 more. Inhale. Lift and open, create that resistance in the body by moving nice and slowly. And then exhale, you've got that invisible beach ball between the thighs that you're squeezing in until it pops. Good, 3 more. Inhale, lift and open, squeezing the buttocks, engaging the thighs. Exhale, squeeze and close. Good, 2 more. Inhale. Engage bottom, engage thighs, open knees up. Exhale, squeezing everything inwards and downwards. Last time. Inhale, open up, squeezing butt, squeezing thighs. And exhale, squeezing inwards and downwards. Well done. Let's take it to the other side. So because I want to stay facing you, I'm going to flip myself around on my mat, but you can literally just roll over onto your back to face in the opposite direction if you prefer. So again, one hand cups underneath the head, the opposite fingertips come out to the floor in front of you, and the heels and ankles will remain together. Now again, squeeze your bottom, squeeze into your thighs, create that resistance in the low body, big inhale, lifting the top knee away from the bottom. Now exhale, imagine you've got that beach ball between the thighs, you're gently squeezing it in until it pops. Good, inhale, thighs and bottom switched on, top knee lifts. Breathing out, top knee lowers. Good. Inhale, create that resistance, top knee rises. Exhale, top knee lowers, hopefully feeling a bit of work going on in your glutes. Inhale, top knee rises, keep squeezing into the bottom and the thighs. Exhale, lower, last time. Inhale, lift and open. And exhale, lower. Well done, excellent work. Okay, from here, let's gently start to make our way up onto all fours. Now I'm going to face this way to begin with. So I'd like you to have your shoulders stacking over top of your wrists, your knees underneath your hips. So the movement that we're going to do is going to be like a dog peeing up a lamppost. So we're going to open our knee out to the side and close. I'm going to do that 5 times on each side. Now, as I lift my knee out to the side, I want to bring it up in line with the hip if that's possible. If that's not okay for your hip, then of course you can bring it lower. And again, I want you to work with resistance. So it's like we're slowly drawing out, we're squeezing the bottom and the thighs. We do that and drawing it back together. Okay, so I'll come sideways on now and we'll do 5 on each side. Now press through the palms, so you're rounding through the shoulders slightly and draw in your tummy button. So moving with breath, inhale, right knee comes out to the side. Now squeeze the bottom, exhale, gently draw the thighs to touch in the center line. Good. Inhale, leg comes out, exhale, thighs come in. Big breath in. Draw the knee up as high as you can. Exhale as though you've got that beach ball between the thighs, drawing in with resistance. Twice more. Inhale, lift up and out. Exhale, draw in and down. Last time. Inhale, up and out. And exhale, in and all the way down. Well done. Okay, let's take it to the second side. So this time floating left knee away. Inhale, lift the left knee up and out to the side. Exhale, draw it all the way down and together. Inhale, lift up and out. Exhale, draw in and together. Inhale, upwards, outwards. Exhale, creating that resistance. Squeeze the bottom and thighs as you draw in. Keep that going. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Twice more. Inhale, open up. Exhale, come back in. Last time, inhale, lift. And exhale, lower. Well done. If you need to, just give your legs a little bit of a stretch out. Have a little moment of breath. And from here, we'll come all the way down onto our belly now. So, belly touches down to floor. So again, we've worked on the outer hips, we've worked on the glutes, and we're going to work on the glutes and the strength of our legs a little bit more. So as you come down flat to your belly, just take a moment to kind of stretch your toes a little bit further back and notice how that brings a little bit more space into the front of the hip flexors. I want you to bring your hands out in front of you like this, placing one hand on top of the other for a moment, and just let your forehead rest down onto your hands. Now we're going to keep the head down and we're simply going to lift and lower both legs at the same time. Now if this is too much, we'll do 6 rounds. So you can do lifting one leg at a time 3 times and then the other leg 3 times. Otherwise you're going to do 6 rounds lifting and lowering both at the same time. Okay, so again, moving with breath. Inhale deeply, lift the legs as high away from the floor as you can. Exhale, create that resistance, squeeze the bottom, lower them down to the ground. Well done. Inhale, lift up, squeeze the butt. Exhale, create resistance as you lower. Good, halfway there. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. So if you're doing one leg, switching to the opposite side now for the next one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, reach up, lift away. Exhale, lower. Final time. Inhale, lift up, point through the toes, and exhale, lower. Excellent work. Okay, so again, we're going to lift the feet. This time we're just going to keep them lifted as long as we can. We'll try and stay there for 5 breaths. Now I want you to bring the fingertips again here to the base of the glutes, so the part where kind of the lowest part of your bottom rolls over the top of the back of your thigh. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So you should hopefully be able to see where I'm placing my hands now. So I'm keeping the tops of the legs down for the moment and I'm squeezing into this space. Now take the forehead down to touch the floor. Take a deep breath in. Now on the exhale, squeeze down into that space and lift both legs up away from the floor as high as you possibly can. Now we're going to hold them here for 5 big breaths. Now I want you to be aware of the engagement levels through your legs. So as well as squeezing into the glutes, are you pulling up through the thighs so you feel like the kneecaps are lifting? Are you pointing through your toes like you want to tap them onto the wall behind you? Let's take 2 more really big breaths here. See if you can lift the legs just a little bit higher. And then gently release. Excellent work. Well done. Bring the hands underneath your shoulders. Press back up. And we'll come onto our feet at the top of the mat. So have a moment. Just catch the breath back slightly. And we're going to take a few kind of squatting positions now, again, to work on the strength in our thighs, but also we're going to start to work with the ankle strength as well. So I'd like you to have your feet about hip distance apart here. Reach the hands out in front so they kind of line up with the shoulders. Now as we sit down into our squat, I want you to imagine you're sliding your back against a brick wall so the back remains nice and straight. So big breath in. Exhale, bend into your knees, sliding your back down your imaginary wall, shoulders remain stacking over top of hips. Now have a sense that the inner thighs are squeezing into the center line. Your invisible football is back. Keep pressing down through the base of your big and little toe, the inner and the outer edges of your heels. So the arches are lifted. See if you can soften your toes, lift them away from the floor. Rock the weight back toward your heels here. The arms are your counterbalance. Keep reaching through the fingertips. For 3, 2, and 1. Gently straighten the legs, come all the way up. Well done. Okay, so we're going to take one more round, but this time as we come down, we're going to lift the heels to rise up onto the balls of our feet, and this is going to help to strengthen our ankles as well as the thighs and the glutes. Arms come out in front, big inhale. Exhale, bend the knees. Again, you're sliding your back down your imaginary wall so your shoulders remain stacked over top of your hips. Draw in the belly. Now start to rock the weight into the balls of the feet this time and lift your heels away. So have a sense of fixing your gaze on one spot in front of you. So this will help you to balance, and almost a sense that not only are your inner thighs and knees squeezing into center line, but also your ankles are as well. 3 more really big breaths here. Well done. Gently release the heels to the floor, arms down by the side body. Excellent work. Take a few breaths to rest here, and we will take the legs out nice and wide. Now spread the arms. You want your ankles to be roughly stacking underneath your wrists. Turn your left toes in slightly and your right toes all the way out. Moving into a warrior 2 position with the legs. So bend into the right knee. Now just double check your alignment here. You want your right heel to be lining up with the inner step of your left arch, the middle of the inner step of your left arch. And as you bend into your right knee, you want to keep the shoulders stacking over top of hips. What can happen is this, okay? So maybe just take left hand onto left hip, gently just tuck it in and sink down a little lower into the front knee. Then float the left arm up. Well done. I'm going to flip the palms towards me and gently start to revolve your arms around. So the right hand comes in front of the right shin, the left arm is lifting up nice and high. Good, nice big breaths here. Maybe you're coming a little bit lower, but try to keep your chest and your hips open to the space in front of you. Breathing here for 3, 2, and 1. Look down, breathe in, come all the way up to the top, hands to hips, switch to second side, right toes in, left toes out. Well done, arms up alongside you, bend into your left knee. Now again, right hand to right hip, make sure that you're not in this position, you want to tuck the right hip in, so you're stacking your shoulders over top of the hips. As you bend this left knee, make sure it's kind of lining up with the second or third toe here. So you've got this external rotation through the front thigh. Big inhale. Exhale, flip the palms towards me and then revolve through the arms. So the reason that we don't have the elbow on the thigh is because that kind of encourages us to kind of dump the weight down. So I want you to use the strength of your belly to support you. Reaching out through your fingertips in opposite directions, like you're sending the energy in two spaces. Chest and hips are open in the same direction. Well done. Turn your gaze down and then inhale, rise all the way up. Excellent work. Let's step the feet together again. Now moving into one of my favourite balances. Now this is almost making an arrow shape with the body. So I'd like you to bring the arms above the head. Interlace your fingers, have just your index finger pointing up to the ceiling. Now arms are active. Squeeze your upper arms into your ears and reach up through the fingertips. So as we move into this balance, I don't want you to bend the elbows and I don't want you to dump your weight forwards. I want you to imagine you're an arrow that's been shot out of a bow and you're keeping that integrity in the upper body. Now, feet are together. Take a big breath in, keep the upper arm squeezing into ears, and then step just your right foot forwards. Now, you're going to gently transfer the weight into your front foot and lift the back toes away from the floor. As the back toes lift away, point them strongly. Imagine that you're being energetically drawn forwards by your fingertips and backwards by your back toes. It could be that eventually you bring the body forwards and down into a capital T shape. Doesn't matter if you're not there quite yet. Holding it here for 3, 2, and 1. Come all the way up to the top. Release the arms down by the side body and just roll out the shoulders a couple of times. So it can feel quite intense for the upper body and it can certainly get the heart pounding. It's notorious for getting our cardiovascular up. So if you're feeling a little bit out of breath, that's totally fine, totally normal. Okay, let's take it to the second side. So again, feet together, arms above the head, interlace your fingers, just have your index fingers pointing up, make that arrow head through the upper body, squeezing upper arms into ears. This time stepping forwards on your left foot. Now as soon as the right toes lift away from the floor, you're pointing them. You're making the body that straight arrow-like shape. And as the upper body moves down toward the floor, the back leg will lift. So maybe you're moving to that capital T shape. Maybe you're not, maybe you're on the diagonal, that's fine. You're just doing what feels right for you, what feels good for you today. 3, 2, and 1. Well done. Come up to standing. Whew. Release the arms, roll the shoulders a couple of times. Well done. Excellent work. Okay. Let's step the feet wide again. So again, sweep up the arms, wrist stack over ankles, just double check. Yep, good. Hands to hips this time, toes turn out and heels turn in. So this is either known as goddess stance or horse stance, whatever you want to be today, a goddess or a horse, both equally as brilliant. Press down through the outer edges of the feet. Feel the arches lifting up and away from the floor. Now bend into your knees. Make sure that your bottom doesn't sink lower than the line of your knees. It can either be in line or slightly higher. Hands to prayer at heart center. Big breath in. Exhale, slide the shoulders away from your ears. Keep the chest nice and open. Make sure you're not gripping the mat with the toes. Begin to feel your thighs firing up. Just think about your positioning here. Try to avoid sticking the butt out and leaning forwards. If you know anything about ballet, demi-plie, we keep the shoulders stacking over the top of the hips. So again, it's like we're sliding our back down the imaginary wall behind us. Now, for the last few big breaths here, you're welcome to rise up onto the balls of the feet, again to get into the ankle strength a bit more. So please feel free to join me if you can. Well done. Gently lower the heels to the floor, bring the feet back together and just have a little resting breath. Excellent work. Okay, so before we start to make our way down onto our bottom, we're going to take one final nice strong strengthening exercise for our quads, our thighs. So I'd like you to step to the top of your mat, take a deep breath in and reach your arms above your head. And then as you exhale, you're going to step your left foot back behind you. So you're in a nice long lunging stance and begin to soften into your front knee a little bit more. So again, think about keeping shoulders stacked over top of hips. Now gently bend into your back knee. Keep bending into it. Gently, gently start to bring it down toward the floor. Now I want you to pause when your knee is hovering just a couple of inches away from the mat. Pause here, squeeze inwards with the inner thighs. Feel the intensity beginning to rise in the left quad. Again, if there's a little shake or wobble going on through the body, that's fine. When we're working into that space, it's just when we know our body is building our strength in that area. 3 more big breaths, you can do this. Good, gently bring fingertips to hips, step forwards, feet side by side, big breath in, resting breath out, let it go. A couple more like that. Well done. Okay, this time right foot steps back, so find that nice long lunging stance. You're on the ball of the back foot, the arms are lifting up. So whenever we're on the ball of the foot, we're really building strength in our ankles. And as we sink into the back knee, we're starting to feel that strength building in our quad as well. Good. So inner thighs squeezing in, nice big breaths. Perhaps again having that sense that you're trying to roll the base of your butt cheek down over the top back thigh. Notice how that feels. Embrace any little wobbles or shakes. See if you can go a little bit lower, but make sure the knee is not on the mat, it's lifted away just a couple of inches. 3, 2, and 1. Fingertips to hips, step to the top of the mat. Well done. Big inhale, big exhale, let it go. Give it a shake. Well done. Let's come all the way down onto our seat now. Okay, so again, if you sit to the floor and you're really rounded through the spine, you could take yourself a little cushion underneath your bottom. Now we're going to make our legs into sort of like the Isle of Man sign, really. So we want to make right angles through our knees. So I'd like you to face the top of your mat. You're going to bring the outer edge of, here it's my right thigh, to line up with the outer edge of the mat, and the shin, my right shin, is parallel to the front edge of the mat. Okay, this back leg, I'm kind of sat onto my right seat here. If I move myself onto my mat properly, my left shin is lining up with the outer edge of the mat and my knee is lining up with my hip. So I've made those 2 right angles through my legs. And just take a big breath in here. Now if it feels okay for the hip, you might want to walk the fingertips a little bit further forward and start to bring yourself a little bit further toward the front shin. But please listen to your body. If that feels uncomfortable, painful, then just stay upright here. You're still working on a stretch in the hip, even when the body is upright. Good, 2 more big breaths. And then gently just walk the hands back towards you. And we're going to turn to the opposite direction. So you're going to rock on the heels, and just like magic, you're facing the opposite side with the opposite leg in front. So again, take a moment, get comfy, make sure you've got those right angles through the legs, fingertips lift up through the spine, exhale. Maybe you're just gently bringing yourself a little bit further forwards here. Remember, it's not a competition, it's not a race to get yourself completely flat to the floor, just moving into a space that feels good for you. Make sure that you're not clenching through the jaw, scrunching up through the eyes, through the face. Two more big breaths. And then gently sitting yourself up. Let's take the fingertips behind us now. Just working on our mobility by taking the knees from one side to the other. And we'll do 6 rounds so that we end up doing both sides equally. So hands come behind, knees up and over to the other side, and then moving with breath. Inhale, up and over to the other side. That's 1 round. Inhale, up and over. Inhale, up and over. Good. Inhale, up and over. Inhale, up and over. Halfway there. Inhale, up and over. Inhale, up and over. Good. Twice more. Inhale, up and over. Inhale, up and over. I don't know about you, but I'm sliding forwards. Last time. Inhale, up and over. Inhale, up and over. Just like that, you've crept all the way forwards on your mat. So make your way back onto your mat. Again, any padding, any blocks you need under your seat, take them there. Right, let's come into Janu Shirshasana. So take the right knee in towards you, sole of the foot comes into the top of your leg, and then lengthen out through the left leg and flex the toes back towards you as well. So the sense that the thigh is drawing up and active, the toes are dorsiflexed back toward the face. Now as you take the hands alongside your extended leg, try to sort of line up your belly button with your left knee here. Take a big inhale into the center of your heart space. And on your out breath, soften into your elbows and just gently begin to allow the upper body to move forwards. So feeling a nice opening for the low back. Maybe you're also feeling a nice opening for the right hip as well. Now, if this knee is floating really high up away from the floor, you can take your yoga blocks, your cushions, your blankets, whatever underneath, just so that it's a bit supported and it's not just flying away. And try not to get hung up on taking hold of the foot and like dragging yourself forwards. It's really not about that at all. You want to try and maintain this length through the body. So I know that I can quite easily catch my toes, but so long as my left foot is flexing, there's no difference between me doing this and me doing this. So just keep the hands grounded to the floor. Close the eyes, allow yourself to sink deeper into it. We're so used to looking at aesthetics and thinking that we want our body to be able to do a really specific thing or look a very specific way, when really what we need to be focusing on is how we feel. So if we feel good, if we feel a nice stretch, a nice release, then that's where we should be, not thinking I'm going to drag myself into a certain position because I think that it looks good. So that sense of working with our body rather than against it. Just 2 more nice big breaths here. Well done. Gently start to lift yourself all the way back up. Second side, right leg extends, bend the left knee, and then take the leg out to the side like you're opening up a book, sole of left foot to top of right thigh. So again, remember, blocks, cushions, whatever else you've got to pad out underneath the left knee if it's lifted up away from the floor. Hands either side of extended leg. Turn so your belly button lines up with the right knee and flex the toes. So try not to let that foot be lazy. You want to dorsiflex the toes to get that extra stretch for the back of your calf and through your hamstring. So nice big breath in. Lift up through the chest, lengthen through front and back body, and then exhale. Gently start to bring yourself forwards over your extended leg. So just try and soften the jaw, soften the shoulders. And as I said before, rather than having a goal of reaching the feet, of pulling ourselves forwards or getting our forehead onto our knee, have a goal of trying to locate spaces where we can soften and then just working into them, softening into those spaces. opening up the body rather than closing down our body and our mind. Three more really nice, deep and expansive breaths all the way down into the back of the right leg. And then very gently walking the hands back towards you, lifting up to the top, and we'll start to make our way down onto our back to have a little relaxation to finish. So if you have layers, blankets, jumpers, anything to keep you nice and warm, please feel free to grab them. I always like my trusty pillow for behind the back of my head. And then just take a moment or two, faff around until you're really comfy. So again, if you started with the knees together or in your Supta Baddha Konasana because the low back is sensitive, then do so. Otherwise, your legs can be extended if you prefer. Either with the arms out alongside the body, or if it just helps you feel a little bit more connected with your breath, take one hand onto your belly and another hand onto your heart space. And with the eyes closed, just start to notice how you're breathing again. Notice where you're breathing into again. But this time, let go of that deep breath. Let go of breathing into any particular space in the body. And just let yourself be really natural here. Again, there's a sense that you're handing everything over to gravity. You're letting gravity draw you down to the floor. So relax your jaw, your shoulders. Soften the space between your eyebrows. Relax your forehead. And feel your scalp release. The whole body is completely relaxed. And your mind is calm and clear. Now, if you do have slightly longer today and you want to soak up relaxation for a little while longer, then I encourage you to stay for as long as you can. But if you do need to be making your way, just start to bring some movement back into your hands and your feet. Maybe a nice full body stretch, reaching the arms above the head. When it feels right for you, just rock yourself to one side and find yourself in a little fetal position. And pause there for a moment, just acknowledging everything that you've achieved in your practice today. The fact that you stepped onto your yoga mat to take part in your practice, to do something for yourself. And when you feel ready, gently come up to a comfortable seated position, whatever that looks like for you. We'll close our practice just by bringing the prayer hands together at the heart center. Bow the chin to chest. And just take a couple of nice big breaths here. In gratitude to you, prayer hands rising up to the space between the eyebrows, lengthening tall. Peace in your thoughts. Take your prayer hands in front of your lips. Peace in your words and in front of your heart. Peace in your actions. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. I hope you enjoyed it, and I really do look forward to seeing you again on the mat very, very soon. Enjoy the rest of your day and take care.